All right, guys, how are you doing today? I'm about to start a whole new year, and I wanted to leave you guys with some words of encouragement, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about is words of encouragement. Did you know that communication is one of the most important aspects of our lives? It's how you function on a regular basis. If you can't speak somebody's language, then you can't communicate. There's a definite barrier there, right? Now, if I'm speaking English and you're speaking English, you might say, oh, we're communicating. Not quite so much. There's so much that goes into it. This is important for all of you guys, so I want you to pay really close attention. I'm going to try to make it as, packed as I can, right? So, if I'm speaking English and you're speaking Spanish and there's no understanding, there's no translation in the middle, then there's not going to be any communication. You're going to have to rely on body language, okay? Which brings me to my first point. Did you know that the words that you use are 7% of your communication, which leaves tonality 33% of the rest of your communication, and body language is the rest of the 60%, I think, if we're going to do our math, all right? That being said, what you say is not as important as the way that you say it. Most times what people say isn't really what they're saying. If I think of a cat, I want you all to think of a cat right now. Picture it in your head, see it, hear it, feel it. Now, I want you to describe that whole image with one word. Cat. My cat was brown. What color was your cat? My cat was on top of a fence. Where was your cat at? My cat made a meow sound. What did your cat sound like, right? So even though the one word said cat, in our mind we developed this whole concept of what a cat is. Now, cat is 7% of my communication, right? But whenever I say, hey, turn the temperature down, or turn the temperature down, or turn the temperature down, I said the same thing 3 times, but I said it 3 different ways. I didn't change my words, I changed my tonality. The way that we embrace our tonality, it has a lot of influence on the way that other people interpret our communication. All right. That being said, the last part is our body language. Now, obviously, you can read a lot from a person's body. Every thought that you think is betrayed by your body in some form or fashion. Whether it's anxiety with your fingers twitching, or maybe you're tapping your feet, maybe you're nervous, maybe you're closed off, maybe everything that you think, maybe your eye starts twitching, right? If you start paying close attention to people, you can read and tell a lot about them. I can actually mind read people because it's not based off of what they say, it's based off of their actions. Now, if someone lies to me, okay, let me rewind. Let's say that, well, actually, we'll just go on that. I can tell when a person is lying because they'll look up to the left, and that will mean that they are creating something in their mind, versus if they're remembering, they're going to look off to the right? I can tell if a person is visual based off if they're looking up inside of their mind, or I can tell if they're auditory, if they're looking side to side when they think. If I ask you, what'd you do for Christmas last year? Someone might go, well, we went to go see the lights, and then we had a big Christmas dinner, and then blah, 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 blah. Or someone say, well, we sat down and we talked. And see, even now, I'm trying to go back to auditory, but you might be able to pay attention throughout this video of where my eyes are going. Now, if someone's visual, they're going to look up. If someone's auditory, they're going to look side to side. And if someone's kinesthetic, meaning they're thinking about their feelings or how they feel about something, they're going to tend to look down. The reason why this is important is because if you pay attention to people, they're communicating in one of these 3 submodalities, or these 3 modalities, either visual, auditory, kinesthetic. You'll hear this in people's language when they say, do you see what I'm saying? Or did you hear what I mean? Or did you feel what I said? Right? And if someone says, do you see what I'm saying? I go, yeah, I heard you. It doesn't quite sound, even though you're saying I understand, you're miscommunicating on a certain level. You're leaving some of that information out. If you say, I completely visualized everything you're saying, now you're speaking that language. You guys know love languages, right? We've got 5 different love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. What this means and why this is important is if your spouse or your significant other is trying to say I love you by spending time with you, but your love language is, let's say, gifts, then no matter how much time they spend with you, even if they don't buy you one gift, you're not going to feel loved. Right? Now, if they go through there and they buy you gifts all the time and you just want them to come spend time with them, you're going to be upset because all you want is for them to come sit down next to you, but they're all the time buying gifts and they've got other priorities. It's because you guys are both saying I love you, but you're not communicating. Communication is key, okay? So I encourage you to focus on your communication this year. Not with necessarily just other people, but with yourself as well, because communication is key. And if you start paying attention to the way that you talk to yourself, damn it, I'm such an idiot. That's not a very nice way to talk to yourself. And you're communicating to your unconscious. And you're telling yourself, oh, I'm an idiot. Or you're telling yourself whatever limiting belief that keeps cycling over in your head. If you take heed to this message right here, right now, this will improve your year of 2021 tremendously. Simply learning these techniques allowed me to increase my success in dating. It allowed me to increase my success in job interviews. It allowed me to increase my success in life overall because I was able to start communicating to people. What I realize is most people, men a lot, have a really hard time genuinely connecting to other people. They just don't know how to connect. They're going through all these things all these techniques that they think that they need in order to attract women, or they don't know what to do when it comes to a job interview, or to be able to make a sale with someone. Rapport is one of the very first things you should do in any situation. Rapport is connection. How do you connect? By using your words. Now, there's a lot more that I could really just dig into this. Notice the body language, right? Because I'm communicating to you. This is how I hypnotize people. So I don't speak on one level. I don't speak on two levels. I speak on multiple levels. I'm speaking to your conscious mind. I'm speaking to your unconscious mind. I can be a highly persuasive person, right? I was at a theme park not too long ago, and I didn't feel like wearing my mask, right? And I wore it whenever they asked me to. I'm not trying to prove a point or anything, but I just took my mask off. At one point, the guy comes over, he's like, "You're kicked out of the park." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "No." Now, in that moment, I could have thrown a fit. I could have done so many different things, but I appealed to him, and I appealed to his sense of consciousness. I said, "All right, you going to walk me out?" And he started walking me out, and I looked at him, I was like, "Listen, here's the deal. I'm not trying to make an issue out of this. I don't understand why you're kicking me out." After he's like, "Well, because I told you once and I told you twice." I said, "Well, you told me once," and then I walked out of the area and I took my mask off. I didn't know that I had to be wearing this 24/7 hours a day while I sleep. And he started running his mouth, and I realized, okay, I'm not going to do any good if I'm combating him, right? Anytime two people's egos come up, you're going to lose, right? Because it's going to become a game of egos. If you can appeal to another person's consciousness or another person's sense of self, then you can pretty much get anything and everything that you want, right? I don't walk through the world thinking I'm big and bad. I walk through the world being flexible, because the person with the most flexibility has the most control. You ever seen someone who tries to control everything? They're so rigid, and when things don't go their way, they stress themselves out, right? So here's a little key to wisdom. Learn how to communicate. If you don't know, or if you've got some questions, ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you, right? I've got a free coaching call that I run on Tuesdays. Join that call. Ask these kinds of questions. That being said, if you want to improve your life, if you want to improve your dating, if you want to improve your success, your business, your sales, no matter what it is, there's certain tips and techniques to persuasion and influence. And it really comes down to just being a decent human being, right? Knowing some of this stuff. I teach men divine masculinity, and I give them confidence. And I use these words to be able to program and instill that confidence into them. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely go ahead and let me know, because I want to help you out. I'm building a community of men, a community of divine masculine men, so that way we can go through and conquer the world being the men that we're supposed to be. This is a message that speaks out to you, or if you know someone that needs to hear this message, go ahead and send them my way. Not just go ahead and have them add to the Facebook group, or let them, be an add on a Facebook profile. It doesn't matter. Just, pass the message along. Much love to you guys, and I hope you have an awesome New Year's. I'm sure I'll speak to you again before then, but I hope this stimulated some sort of, questions in your mind, because life is not about the answers you receive. It's about the questions that you ask. If you ask the right questions, you'll receive the right answers. Hope you have a good year. Bye.